Hi, I'm Monet Farcole. I'm a grief recovery specialist and a life transition strategist, and I help women who typically are over 40 work through the pain and the loss of divorce, death of a loved one, and other life transitions to not only release the pain of that and process their grief, but to also then move forward in a life that they love. So today I wanted to talk to you about being stuck. It's been a resounding theme in a lot of the work that I'm doing right now, and I realized that there's a conversation that goes on in our minds, and sometimes we're not even aware of it, and sometimes we actually choose to remain stuck. And there are some benefits. There are some benefits to remaining stuck as well as some costs. So we're going to talk about both. First, let's talk about the benefits. Why do we choose to stay stuck? Well, the first thing is it's familiar and it feels safe. Even when we're in a situation that's painful or unhealthy, because we know it and we've been doing it and we're familiar with it, it feels easier to just continue to go down this lane than to try to do something different. And especially when we're grieving a divorce or the death of a loved one, we don't have the energy. We don't have the mental energy to even think about what does it take for me to remove myself from this situation. It's just easier to just go along with status quo. The second reason we sometimes choose to remain stuck is we want to avoid the risk of failure or success. So let me explain that a little. So it's difficult for us to fail in front of the people that we know and love. It's difficult to experience failure even on a personal level within yourself. And so sometimes just the fear of failing is enough to immobilize us and stop us from doing what we know is probably better for us. It's just easier again to just stay in what we're in and just not take the risk of failing. There's also a risk of succeeding, right? We have to be different. We have to show up differently. We have to maybe challenge ourselves in new ways that we're not necessarily ready for. And sometimes it means changing our circle of friends, right? The people that we're around and hanging around. Sometimes those friendships shift because we're in a new space in our lives. So that risk of failure or succeeding is something that keeps us stuck. Another thing that keeps us stuck sometimes is, you know, there's no need for a hard decision. Making a big move, whether it's in our best interest or, whether it's the excitement of a new job or a new relationship, setting boundaries for the first time, these big decisions are hard and they require energy that we may not have within us because we're grieving or we're just in a space of giving so much to the people we love, our jobs, our communities, that we just don't have the energy to make these kind of hard decisions. So staying stuck delays those tough decisions, and we just, instead of making the decisions to do something different, we just choose to stay where we are. Another reason to stay stuck is, you know, you're getting some sympathy and support sometimes in that space. So that is sometimes worth so much to people. Sometimes we're afraid that if we heal our hearts and we're stronger, that we'll lose some of that support. We'll lose some of those friendships. We'll lose even some of those connections, right? Because some of our connections are built around our struggle. We share a common struggle with someone. And so we have these conversations, we have friendships and connection. And it's interesting because as we start to do our healing work and we heal our hearts, some of those friendships die. They do. And so we might know that innately that we're going to have to give up some of these things that have been comforting to us in our time of need. So it's just easier to stay there, keep those connections, and keep that support around us. Another reason that we may choose to remain stuck is we don't want to face those deep feelings yet. I know sometimes in my grief, I was like, oh, that anger that I'm feeling is ugly and I just don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. And it's so normal. It's so normal for us to want to avoid those kinds of deep feelings. And sometimes we feel like those feelings are just going to overtake us. I know I remember feeling so sad that I felt that if I gave into this feeling, that I would just never get up from the couch again. But it wasn't true. I got up. I faced it. I got up, and you can too. But let's still talk about why we choose to stay stuck. So that's a reason. We're just not ready to face those deep feelings yet. Another reason that we can choose to remain stuck is it just requires less energy of us in the short term, because these things drain on us over time. If year after year after year we continue not to pursue our dreams and a life that we love, that is an energy drainer over time. But in the short term, sometimes we just feel like I don't have the energy to even think about what I want in this moment, how I would do something different. Where would I go? Who would I be with? Like, what's that life look like? I don't know. It's too much. So it's like, let's just put it to the side. And unfortunately, we keep putting it to the side. So now that we've talked about some of the reasons why we choose to stay stuck, let's talk about some of the cost of remaining stuck. So the first one is time slips away. Days turn into months, months turn into years. Before you know it, 10 years has gone by and you have not pursued the things that are on your heart to do and experience. And what a loss, because you just look back and you're like, oh my God, where did the time go? I know for me, at this stage in my life, I look back and I'm like, where did the last 10 years go? My goodness. So when we stay stuck for all that time, look at all the experiences that you've given up for the days, months, and years that it's taking you to start doing the work. So time slips away. The other cost is that our dreams actually turn into regrets. They fade away into regrets. They're no longer our dreams, they become our regrets because we have no intention at this point of pursuing them. How sad. How sad for us. How sad for us to go to our graves with all these dreams, all the things that we wanted to do that we never did. We didn't even give it a chance. So that's a huge cost, in my opinion at least, that our dreams fade into regrets. Another cost is resentment grows. The more you tell yourself time and time again that you're just not going to be able to do these things, you start to resent yourself and life. And how dangerous is that? These thoughts, they just don't serve you in the long run. And so not doing what's on your heart and your mind leads to frustration, and frustration leads to resentment. And when we carry that in our hearts, we harden and our hearts harden, and we don't want that. The other cost is our confidence shrinks. The more we tell ourselves we can't, the more we believe it, and the more that is what we see in our lives, right? And so we no longer have the confidence that we even can do the things that are on our hearts and minds to do. The longer time moves on without us doing those things, making any kind of moves towards our dreams, the less confidence we have that we can actually pull it off. Another cost is the emotional weight that we carry. Stagnation doesn't mean peace of mind. No, it's a weight that we carry because we know in our hearts what's there for us to do. We know what's in our hearts that we would love to see and experience. And when we don't move forward with those things, that's just more emotional weight. I talk to my clients about having a backpack, right? And each time we let ourselves down, each time we experience grief and don't process it, it's another rock in the knapsack. And so that knapsack gets heavier and heavier. That's the emotional weight we're carrying around. And it makes it harder and harder for us to move forward. The last cost I want to talk to you is about life just feels duller. Even if you're staying safe, are you truly living? Are you even feeling alive? You know, what about joy and excitement and passion for life and what it is that you're doing? We give that up. We give that up and we exchange it for a safer life, a life that's dull and doesn't excite us. And that's a heavy cost. That's a heavy cost. So I know how hard this work is. I know. So I want to just offer you some small shifts that you can take starting today to at least start making a way to see your way clear to the heavier lift, to really changing your life. So these are some small ways you can begin to shift forward. The first thing is get honest with compassion about where you feel stuck. There's no judging, no analyzing, no, you know, feeling bad about it. Just where are you? Where are you stuck in your life? So, where is it that you feel like you're standing still? Is it in your career? Is it in your relationships? Is it in your health? Is it healing from a loss you've experienced? What about your sense of self? Is that where you're feeling stuck? So, again, no judgment. We just simply want to bring some awareness to where we are stuck. That's the first step. Another step you can take is to then ask yourself the right question. Instead of asking yourself, why am I stuck? Because that can send you down a whole road that you might not be really ready for and you might need support with. That's something you might call me to help you because that's it's a more difficult conversation to have because it's like, okay, why am I stuck? And you're figuring it out, and okay, now what do I do about it? It can be a little overwhelming. So instead of that, you want to ask yourself, what's one small step I can take forward today? A small thing. Maybe it's just I'm gonna talk nicely to myself. I'm going to say nice things to myself to counter that inner critic in my head. What's a small step you can take today? Then you want to reconnect with your dream or your desire in some way, some small way. So if there was a book on your heart, or if there is a book on your heart to write, okay, maybe we don't write chapter 1 today. But why don't we start writing? Get into the practice of writing again. Journaling for like 10, 15 minutes a day. Just find 10 to 15 minutes a day or several times a week. You can give that to yourself. You can give that to yourself. So find some way to reconnect to your dream. The next thing you can do to take a small shift forward is just change one routine. Is it your morning ritual, your evening ritual? Something about what you do on a daily basis, change it. Just make a small change. So for me, I have been struggling with getting to my yoga classes every, couple of days. And so what I've decided, my small shift was I'm going to do stretching in the morning. It does not take me long. 5 minutes. That's it. The next thing that you want to do is speak some life into your future. So we want to replace I can't with I'm figuring it out. That's not a huge commitment. You didn't say what you're doing. You didn't have to figure it out exactly what your plan of action is, but just simply changing and rephrasing I can't to I'm figuring it out makes some room and some space for you to do just that. One more thing to do. I got two more. So you want to create a tiny, brave moment for yourself. I want you to do one slightly uncomfortable thing today or this week. Okay, let's say this week. So whether it's speaking up in a meeting when you don't usually, reaching out to an old friend that you've really been meaning to reconnect with, or just saying no. Hello? Or just saying no in a circumstance where you need to do that, just starting to set some boundaries. So, just some small, tiny, brave moment that you can have this week. Gift yourself with that. And finally, get some support. So, whether it's a friend, a trusted friend, because we have friends who are connected to us in the struggle, and they may not be the best person to help support us as we're moving forward. So just make sure you make the right choice. Choose someone who is also maybe trying to make some positive changes in their lives, and you can encourage each other, but get some support. That's really critical as you move forward. So beautiful. I If you're feeling unstuck and unsure of how to move forward, I'm offering you the option to call me. Just let's have a heart to heart discovery call. No money, no commitment, just let's talk. Let's just see if there's some way that I can help you in this journey to get unstuck. I'm telling you, it is my mission in life to get us unstuck in this life and start creating lives that we love. So I will put all of my contact information in the comments below, and I really look forward to hearing from you. Let's explore this together. You don't have to do this alone. I can partner with you. I'm a collaborative coach, and we will create a program, a system that works specifically for you and where you are in your life. So reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. And even if you don't want to have a discovery call, reach out. Let me know how your journey's going. If you've tried any of this and if any of it's working for you, I would love to hear. So take care and have an amazing day. Take those steps forward. Just these tiny little shifts can make a big difference in your life.